Welcome to the first key to unlocking the mystery of your beautiful changing body. Today we are going to address the stress, which is one of the main contributors to belly fat. We are also going to start a journey to healthy awareness. This is my stress reliever. His name is Zelvius, also known as Big Guy. He's my Frisian horse from the Netherlands. We showed in dressage for about 8 years. Then we did a couple years of jumping, and now we just relax and have fun together on the trail, or sometimes we just run around together in the pasture. It's interesting with horses. And if you've ever been around horses, you may know, but you cannot take any stress to them. They pick it up immediately. He will not have anything to do with me if I come stressed out or angry at anyone. So I leave all my stress when I'm out with him. And if my body is stressed, just riding him releases that stress. I'm grateful and joyful when I'm with him. And that's another stress reliever we're going to be talking about. So as we're going through this, if you think of something that you're grateful for, something that just really makes your heart shine and gives you a big smile, write it down. Those are going to be your tools. I'll be asking you later to take some action with that. Have you ever experienced gaining 2 to 3 pounds overnight? You wake up in the morning, take a shower, look down, and see belly fat that was not there yesterday. Today, in addressing the stress, we're going to take a look at what happens to your body when you are stressed. This was never taught in school. I have to say, a lot of this research has been recent, and I am so grateful to be sharing it with you. When we have an awareness, again, this healthy awareness of what we are doing and how it is affecting our body, we can make changes. We're also going to take a look at what happens to our hormones when we're stressed and how that out of balance of hormones causes belly fat and other physical ailments. And then we're going to take a look at what you can do to lower the stress, changing a mindset, awareness, and other things. Healthy awareness is your subconscious and your conscious working together so you can thrive and live longer. I like to use the analogy of crossing a street. Our subconscious, it has been drilled into us. And so when our subconscious is working, we don't even think about it. We're not aware. We just automatically, we come to a street, we look both ways, whether we're driving or walking. And we do this because we know if we don't, there's a chance that we could get hit by a car, a bicyclist. Something could happen that could endanger us or even kill us. Our subconscious wants to keep us alive and safe. We're going to be training our subconscious to think about stress in this way. Now again, stress can kill you. Not as fast as a car, but over time. So let's take a look at what happens to our body when we get stressed. When we're stressed, our brain, our hypothalamus, and our pituitary glands tell our adrenal glands, which you can see are located right on top of your kidneys. If you weren't sure where your kidneys were, you can see where they're located there in your body. Our adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline. The adrenaline obviously increases your heart rate and makes it so you can keep going. The cortisol, on the other hand, is a hormone, and we're going to talk about what that does to our body and on the cellular level and what it affects other parts of our bodies. But I want to also go through that stress can be mental and it can be physical. Both types of stress will cause this cortisol release. If you're just having mental stress, if you're just stressing about a relationship, either a family member or a friend that has upset you or stressed you in some way, and you're just thinking about how stressed this person is stressing you, if you're just thinking about it, you're releasing cortisol. If you're having financial stresses, if work is stressing you out, if you are constantly multitasking over a long period of time tells your brain to tell your adrenal glands to release cortisol and adrenaline, because that's the only way that you can keep multitasking over a long period of time. Physical stresses, such as running, having a really hard workout, not sleeping, or maybe you have a job that is really physical, it's going to be releasing cortisol. I want to make clear that not all cortisol release is bad. We do need a small amount of cortisol for our brains, for our cellular function, to wake us up in the morning. We do want our adrenals releasing those in a certain way, but not all day long and not for several hours at a time. When you get stressed, the other thing that happens is your adrenal glands, which normally produce a compound called DHEA, and your body then makes estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone, depending on what it needs from that. If you're stressed and you're producing cortisol, your adrenal glands are not producing DHEA. And you can deplete your adrenal glands from so much stress that even when you're not stressed, they don't even have enough backup to make DHEA. As we're getting to the age of over 40, our ovaries, which also produce estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, they're not producing that many of them. So we really need our adrenal glands to be healthy to still get those hormones to do what they need to do. I mean, estrogen and testosterone alone are the hormones that we need to have at a certain level so we have, interest in having sex, having a response when we're with someone, and even just being able to have sex, just being able to have the function of it. If those hormones are really low, you can't even do anything. This is one of the reasons why stress definitely has an effect on other hormones. We're going to talk again when we're naturally balancing our hormones, the effect that cortisol has on insulin and what happens to insulin and how the effect of what cortisol does to your thyroid. So we'll get into that in another section. But I just want to really have the basis of what happens when cortisol is high and testosterone is low. That is the recipe for belly fat. Let's talk a little bit about testosterone because it is produced in the ovaries. We do need a certain amount of it. Men produce much more, but we still need it. It peaks pretty much in our 20s, and then after that it declines every single year. So the amount that our ovaries are producing decline. We get to over 40, we're hardly producing any testosterone, and our cortisol is going up because we're stressed, and that is the recipe for belly fat, getting an apple or pear shape. So especially, every woman kind of distributes their fat a little differently. And this happens to men too. Their testosterone declines too. After the age of, in their mid to late 20s, it starts going down. And if they're stressed, they're going to run into that same situation. That's one reason that men, also you start seeing big bellies on men after 40. So let's look at what stress does to our bodies over time. We see an increase in appetite, sugar cravings. We've talked about belly fat. I'm going to talk a little bit about the brain and why anxiety and depression happens. If you're still cycling, your PMS symptoms will definitely increase. So more cramping, breast tenderness, everything. If you're in menopause, hot flashes and night sweats are going to be much greater. when you're stressed. And then let's look at what decreases: muscle mass, bone density, and we've talked about libido. Also, our immune system is going to be impaired when we're stressed. Our bodies, when we produce cortisol and adrenaline, it's thinking we need to like run from a lion or a tiger, and it shuts down our digestive tract. Our immune system is 80% of our digestive tract. So when our digestive tract shuts down, our immune system shuts down. Have you ever noticed when you've had a really stressful period, it may have been for a day or two or even longer, and then you get sick? That is the reason. Let's look at what excessive cortisol does to the brain. In Sean Talbot's book, The Cortisol Connection, he talks about what happens when we have too much cortisol or too little, and especially what happens with our brain. When we get this excessive amount of cortisol from being stressed over time, this overexposure to cortisol in our brain actually destroys the crucial brain cells responsible for a good mood. This study was done by the researchers at the Institute of Psychiatry at King's College in London, and they saw that there were these two phases where too much cortisol was destroying these brain cells or neurons that we really need to be in a good mood. And then the second phase is that our brain puts up a resistance. It does not want any cortisol at this point, and it shuts it off from even coming in. Now, what brain cells and neurons you still have left in there are not getting cortisol, and they start dying off. And what we see is a deepening of depression. And then we start seeing fatigue and confusion, anxiety. This is really good research to keep in mind. I'm hoping that it creates this awareness. So now when you see that you're stressed, that you do something about it and just don't think that it's okay to stay in that state. Whew. Well, that was a lot, and that may have been a little stressful to even look at that. We're going to move right into essential oils. I've listed some oils here that I use on a regular basis to help me deal and support my body when I am going through stress. There are times, obviously, that it's unavoidable. You have a deadline, you have to get it done, things happen, life happens, but the essential oils can really help support your body through this stressful time, help you reduce that cortisol production. The lavender and vetiver are very grounding. The oils from the different trees, spruce, cedarwood, white fir, I love all of those. Roman chamomile and frankincense. Oh, very, very calming. Wild orange is a joyful oil. So if you are just tired or upset and you just need some instant joy in a bottle, wild orange is my favorite one to go to. But what if you're having one of those days where you're stressed because you're impatient? Computer things aren't working, just something's not working, and your patience has gone to the max, and you just can't go on from there. Basil is your oil. It really helps you deal with that emotion of being impatient. One of the rule of thumbs with oils is only 1 to 2 drops. You want to breathe them in, so you can put them on your hands, rub together, breathe in through your nose. You can diffuse them. Diffusers are wonderful. I have a diffuser on my desk and one in my bedroom. You can also put them on the bottom of your feet. Putting them on the bottom of your feet gets the oils into your whole body. I have my website, doTERRA.com, on there /horse. If you want to explore essential oils a little bit more or ask any questions, feel free to go to my website. You can contact me there. I'd love to just, share and find out what oils would be best for you. And remember, when an essential oil smells good to you, that's when your body needs it. If an oil doesn't smell good to you, your body doesn't need that oil at that time. it may smell good at a different time. So that's why everybody's chemistry is different, and what your body needs is what is going to smell good to you. Let's take some action. Let's recap here. Again, you are in control of your reaction to stress. 100%. That is what you have control over, is how you react. So think about that when a stressful situation. Are you going to fly off the handle? Are you going to have a tantrum? If you need to release some anger, I recommend releasing it. Don't hold it in, but don't stay there. Look at what you can do to control your reaction to stress. Think of the awareness and what's going on in your body. In the next section, we're going to talk about sleep and how you can get those 7 hours of sleep. We'll also be talking about how food can make a huge difference on the physical stress of your body, what you put in, and how your body's reacting to that. I definitely recommend organic vegetables, hormone-free meat, sustainable seafood. Choosing joy, choosing to be grateful throughout the day. Don't wait until you're stressed. Just have a little joy break, happy break, and think about what you're grateful for. Pick one of them or a couple things and start today in reducing your stress. And we'll talk about how to get rid of that belly fat that has been there because of stress. But have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you in the next section on a good night's sleep.